Hello and welcome back to another One Piece video. So today I have Gecko Moria for you guys. This is tailored to the OP11 format. Really good news is that in PRB2, Gecko Moria is going to be getting his own Gecko Moria back. We know that the 8 cost Gecko got banned, but thanks to the PRB2 announcement, looks like Gecko Moria is getting it seems like it's better than the old Gecko Moria. But now it's leader locked, right? So I do want to revisit Gecko Moria once OP12 comes out. But in the meantime, this is the list I've been using for Gecko Moria just because this format, it's really hard for Gecko to really control the board. And so I made this build to really control their hand instead. So we have the 2K Shirahoshi. She doesn't really come up that often. But she's an option to rest this character, return 2 cards from your trash to your hand or to your deck, and then your opponent discards a card if they have 6 or more. But the main discard engine you're going to be using in this deck is going to be the 2 cost Pudding, the 4 cost Perona, like you guys already know, the negative Hollow, and then Law's in here primarily. Primarily he's in here for being a blocker. But his option to discard a card out of your opponent's hand is nice too. And this combos really well, all this discarding effect. It all combos really well with Ryuma, because if you're making your opponent discard cards in the early game and you drop down Ryuma, he's going to be threatening that double attack, which they obviously don't want to take. And then in the late game, Kaido, super nice card, answers 7 costs. Bodies really well, also forcing your opponent to trash a card from their hand, and then Stussy being able to help you remove larger bodies that you're not able to with Kaido. So yeah, enough of the deck list. All of this is in theory because we just want to force your opponent to discard and then basically just pressure them with the Ryuma and then your top end bodies late game. So yeah, enough of this. Let's just hop over to some gameplay and then you guys can see how this thing runs. Okay, so first game I got for you guys, we're going to be going up against Jewelry Bonney. And then, as you guys already know, Jewelry Bonney is one of the stronger decks this format, but Gecko Moria being a black deck, he does naturally counter Bonney, but also thanks to this build, we're going to be able to pressure cards out of his hand so that he's not able to hoard resources for that 8 cost kid in the late game. So I decided to actually just start pressuring life early on instead of developing the Ryuma. Instead just playing down the Absalom so that I can just swing into her life here. And then, yeah, we're able to get that 6k swing out of there. I think I could have played down the Ryuma and swung in with the Sindri, but I didn't want to get punished by him countering out with the 2k and then being able to search again this turn. So this game here, or this turn, I decide to swing in 7, I believe, using the Absalom to pop the Bonney once again. Yeah, because at this point, we're trying to just flood the board as much as possible, and then popping his bodies with our Absaloms if possible. Just because in the later stages of the game, we really win the game by poking resources out of their hand with these 5k swings, and then if he drops stuff down like Hody Jones, we'll be able to answer that. Like his Cavendishes, we have the Hina in hand, so we'll be able to answer that as well. But yeah, I know that Bonney obviously has a lot of cards in her hand, but because she has no board, we're not really feeling too threatened here. So he does drop out in that Cavendish, swinging in 7 into the Absalom. I'm definitely just going to let him go here, especially because being Gecko, we're going to be able to recycle him using our leader ability. And then, yeah, swing in 7 at lead here, ditching the Hogback and then bringing back the Absalom to pop this Cavendish. And then, yeah, now we're looking in a really good spot. So yeah, even though the Bonney has 7 or 8 cards in hand, We do have 3 threats on board that she really has to answer. Otherwise, she's going to be in big trouble. And I think at this point, even if she has the kid in the late game, we do have the Stussy to answer. And it really comes down to if the Bonney has like the kid into a Rosinante, that would be really annoying to deal with. But not too annoying just because we have Absalom. So we could technically just swing super heavy with our leader and then pop the Rosinante with our Absalom, right? So it does drop down the Hody Jones here. I decide to swing in 5s first because I know he's going to rest down our leader. And then we're going to use this Kaido to pop the Hody Jones with no setup, which is going to be super nice. So yeah, just getting rid of the Perona there just because we know that we can recycle her. But yeah, at one point the Bonney had like 11 cards in her hand. But obviously because we're able to just poke out with so many minimum swings, we were able to get her down to 5 cards already. Or 4 cards actually. So just gonna protect that Absalom there, and then Stussy being able to pop that kid. Again with no setup just because that Sindri's been there all game. Yeah, honestly, this is just way too much pressure for that Bonney to handle. So yeah, we're able to take a pretty convincing win against Bonney here. Okay, so next game I got for you guys, we're going to be going up against Green Yellow Yamato. Obviously, she's not one of the top decks in this format, but I just wanted to showcase this just because I think Gecko in general is really good into yellow green decks, just because not only is he able to keep their hand size down, he's able to control the board pretty well, especially in the mid game with that Absalom. And then with cards like Suru and Hina, we're able to pop down a bunch of his smaller bodies. And so he swings in 8 at lead here. I decide to take just because this swing didn't have Banish attached to it. And so we're able to just draw 2 cards there. And then obviously if he does have Banish in the later turns, we're going to be doing that, or we're going to be countering out of that instead. So I swing in 7 at lead here, using the Perona to force him to ditch a card out of his hand again. Just being as annoying as possible because Gecko really wins the game by putting down a bunch of small bodies, and then also being able to rip resources out of hand through non-swings is super nice as well. So with 5 cards left in hand here, I can't imagine he can do a lot of defending here. I think I decide to swing in 7 with lead, using this Absalom, and then popping the blocker here. And then we should be able to pressure with another 7 with this Perona. Yeah, so already putting him down to 3 cards in hand. As you can see, like there's a ton of pressure that comes out. Even though we're not putting down the tallest bodies, we are able to put down like bodies that are able to chip away at his resources. So was able to pop our Absalom there with the Doji. And then I believe if he just swings into the Perona, we're just gonna let her go. But he actually swings in at lead. I decided to take that. I think we didn't have enough counter, or if we did, it would have caused our whole hand to defend out of that. But because we have the Rebecca, I'm just gonna make a simple Rebecca Hina play here. And then popping that Doji with the Absalom in our trash, and then probably ditching one of the bricks, and then being able to pop that Doji here. So yeah, it is a little scary. He did have the Flame Spit to rest down our Rebecca. But I think with the amount of Dawn he has, there's really no way for him to close out the match here, right? Yeah, it looks like we can counter out of a single 9k swing with the amount of counter we have in hand, and so even Hody Jones won't save him here. So he starts off with a 7k swing at lead, and we should be able to shut him down from the first swing here. So yeah, basically able to counter out of the 7k swing, and then pretty much GG's at this point, just attaching everything to the Perona, swinging in 15k at lead, and able to take a win from green-yellow Yamato as well. So yeah, even though we didn't control the board too heavily, we were able to keep, you know, Yamato's hand size down there so that we were able to pressure a life nearly every turn. So yeah, able to scrape a win here as well. Okay, so last game I got for you guys, we're gonna be going up against Purple Yellow Pudding. So Pudding right now is really good, honestly. I think she kind of loses to herself for the most part, just because Pudding, you need to be really consistent to be able to ramp and then get your large bodies so that you're able to force your opponent to answer your large bodies, otherwise you just fold. But luckily for us, she didn't find herself a double ramp here, which is really important for us. Only being able to ramp one means that we're able to buy ourselves another turn before that 10 mon comes down. And playing down the 6-drop Linlin, I'm really not afraid of dropping low on life just yet, just because we have the Hina and Absalom to answer this Linlin here. And I think that's exactly what we do. So playing down the Hina, or yeah, swinging 5 in Perona first, and then reducing the Linlin, and then swing in 6 at lead, being able to revive our Absalom here to pop that Linlin. So yeah, we're in a really good spot here. I think obviously this is the best way to beat Pudding. You just want to fill your board as wide as possible and then pressure her with as many minimum swings as possible. But then on her 7-don or her 8-don turn, only being able to play down this Katakuri just tells us that she's pretty much cooked, right? So swinging in 6 into our Perona here, just going to be easily countered by this Sindri. And then yeah, at this point we're just going to keep up the same game plan, doesn't matter. I think obviously he shouldn't have used his lead ability, but didn't matter too much because we were going to swing into his life anyways. But yeah, swing in 5 at lead there, and then let's start off with a 6k swing. Yeah, just because we have the Dawn to play with, and so I'm just poking in, forcing him to have these 2k counters. Otherwise, we're going to put him to 0 here. And then the biggest thing about this turn is that we're able to drain out 4 swings of resources, but also able to pop this Katakuri just because we have the Hina Absalom combo as well. So this is what I'm talking about, where Gecko's not able to really control the board towards the late game, but at least in the early to mid game, we're able to get these bodies off board. And really able to pressure our opponent with all of these like smaller 5k bodies, just swinging in constant minimums, forcing them to give us resources or just lose the game, right? Just because taking life, especially at a 5k swing, feels the worst. So here, no matter what he swings into, unless it's lead, we're going to defend out of it with a 1k swing. And then at this point, we just have way too many swings on board. And yeah, we should be able to close out the match here. So starting off with a 7k at lead, just because he gives us both cards in his hand. At this point, we're just swinging in minimums. Yeah, forcing the 2 blocks. And yeah, that's how you beat Pudding as Gecko. Yeah, pretty much this deck, you really are just forcing your opponent to give you cards out of their hand, just because it's hard for Gecko to really compete with board in this format, because a lot of the decks, as you can see, if he was able to put down that Katakuri on curve, it's hard for Gecko to really deal with these like 7+ cost bodies. And so instead of going for board in that case, we just rip apart their hand using effects like the Perona, the law in our hand, and like the 2-cost Pudding. So Yeah, that's basically it for the video. Hopefully, you know, this deck is not going to be like meta changing or anything, but once PRB 2 comes out, I really want to test Gecko Moria's ceiling with that new Gecko coming out. So yeah, that's basically it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.